I remember around 2 3 years back, I was involved as a solution architect in one of the modern workplace automation tools to industrialize and operationalize. The primarily the use case was, in service desk and help desk environment where large number of help desk colleague will involve for identifying the tickets and make sure that these tickets or this service request goes to the right team. There will be a server team, network teams, and so on and so forth. So one team will be dedicated to only to classify those requests to the right team. For example, if any ticket comes as a network related, it should go to network team rather than Outlook teams or Office emails team, right? So, so machine learning were able to classify those ticket based on the descriptions of that problem statement, which is mentioned by the users. So, as a machine learning uh, developer is definitely able to classify that and make sure that it is able to do the seamless classifications of those large number of incidents and problems without any manual interventions. So that was been done by using the machine learning colleagues. So our job is to overall industrialize so that large number of customers able to uh, consume those services, right? So how we have started is essentially we architect the overall solutions. We build the user interfaces to make sure that all that analysts are able to log in and able to themselves do it, and make sure that they are able to take it the output of that classifications into their next further investigation process, right? So the user interface was one of the key requirement. Once that user interface is required, of course, the backend activity, microservices, and DevOps, overall infrastructure to deploy, and security layers to expose those endpoints to outside and inside the organization, and so on and so forth. So there are many areas of solution architects and architects roles are involved. So I was definitely was doing the end-to-end architecture for that particular use case to industrialize. Uh, we did it using the Azure platforms. We identify the first Azure container instance to deploy it for the backend services. Azure, the front end were developed into Angular. So we identified the Azure app services as a front end tools to for overall deployment and containerizations, right? Of course, we use the Docker and container to containerize this, and we design the best design guidelines to make sure that it is modular and independently deploy each of the component, so that if something goes wrong in one component, other can also still can continue, right? So overall, the design wise, starting from the REST API designs, and then overall infrastructure design, overall database designs, uh, and so on and so forth. Of course, the DevOps is the key component to build the infrastructure and make sure that all the continuous integration and continuous deployments happen, right? So we were around 10 members engineering team, but ultimately a lot of challenges were there during the actual executions. As any projects, it happens. But why I am trying to share this is essentially the learnings are always there, and the learnings what I have learned here in these projects is in any kind of architecture initiatives, if you will be one alone in the architecture team primarily, right? When there is a 6 member 10 member engineering team, unless there is a dedicated solution architecture team and the solution architecture is engaging in multiple projects, that is different story. But in this kind of scenario where there are 10 members engineering team and one solution architect, probably whole design decisions will fall into your plate. But then definitely this should not be the approach that one person should take. uh, First of all, if you designed, you probably designed and you get it reviewed with any other solution architect, so that you take the right questions and ask the challenges that he or she can anticipate in overall designs, right? Or any drawbacks. So that is the first step. Unless and until we get the feedbacks from other colleagues, probably our architects is not the bulletproof or future proofs. Why? Because uh, while I was designing the microservice, I was not designing that asynchronous kind of scenario that is required. For example, when there is large amount of volumes that is coming from the different uh, front end interface as part of the files that they are going to classify, our services was breaking, right? Because we have not thought about that kind of Kafka kind of design where you are able to segregate the one component with the other components, right? It is essential that we are able to should be decoupled and highly distributed each of our component to meet the futuristic needs, right? Because that kind of thought process was not there initially, but as we start executing and we are doing the testing, we realize that no, it is our solution is slightly tightly coupled. So first of all, my thought is that as a solution architect or as a enterprise architect, we should definitely get it reviewed our architect document with our internal architect, other peer colleagues. Second is we must involve our lead engineers or lead developers during the design phase. What I essentially did is at least 60% I used to design, and remaining 40% I used to take the discuss with the collaborations in collaboration with the team, so that team is also comfortable how overall implementation has happened. So therefore that has given me little advantage during the execution phase. I did not face any challenges because there is a good amount of alignment and collaboration was there. But the learning is, of course, as I said, we must get it reviewed by internal architect colleagues. Second thing, we must collaborate with the lead engineers during the design phase. And third is most important, what I realize is rather than building little enterprise kind of solutions, whatever you have ready solutions, start exposing to the client and start getting the feedback. So that feedback is very important for doing the overall designs. So this is my 3 key learnings. Get it reviewed our architecture documents. Second is, of course, collaborate with at least the lead developers who are doing the design phase. And third is whatever they're ready, let it expose to the customer and get it feedback rather than just deploying in overall infrastructure and make sure that they are able to consume it and so on and so forth in a full-fledged development or full-fledged completions. We can start exposing whatever we have and get the feedback and start take the feedback during the design phase also. That is very important. So this is my thought. Let me know what you think. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. Bye.